Okay, guys, ready for the last section of this? So we're adding two new definitions, translations of graphs. So now we're shifting left to right or up and down. So the phase shift is how far the function is horizontally to the right of the usual position. So we're talking about horizontally to the right, not left or right, to the right. Okay, and a vertical shift is how far the function is vertically up from the usual position. Okay, so I know that when we talk about quadratics and polynomials and all of our other functions, we're talking about shifting left and right and up and down. When we're talking about our trig functions, we're only talking about shifting horizontally to the right and vertically up from our usual position. Um, Now it can shift vertically down if it's negative. So I do want to make sure that I'm not saying it cannot shift down also, because it can, depending on what the our number is. So here we go. So there's two different forms of the equation. So if we have this form of the equation, which says y equals a times sine of bx plus c plus d, my phase shift is negative c divided by b. So what's the, and then if it is, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. If it is this equation where it's a equals sine of b times x plus c plus d, then my phase shift is negative c and my vertical shift is d. So really, what's the difference between this equation, between these two equations? Well, it's in here. Okay, in this second equation, b has been factored out of c. Okay, can you see that b has been factored out of both of them? Here, b hasn't been factored out. So that's the main difference between the two, and that's why the only thing that changes is my phase shift. So I just have to kind of pay attention to the equation that's given to me and which one I'm going to find. Okay, so I'm still going to, and on my next problem, I'm going to find all of the things that I have been finding. So my amplitude, my period, my frequency. Now I'm going to add my phase shift and my vertical shift in there. So we're going to do that for the next problems, and then we'll be done. We just want to identify what's happening to my graph. So when I graph it, I know. And remember at the first video when I was saying I need to know where it starts, where sine starts, where cosine starts, where it crosses my axis at, where the peaks and where the valleys are. If I know those pieces, and I know my amplitude, my period, my frequency, my phase shifts, I can put in my points and then just draw on the curve. It makes it really easy to graph. So I just wanted to throw, why are we spending some time knowing this stuff? Because it makes it easier to graph. So here we go. For the first problem. So my amplitude is still the number in front of sine. So my amplitude is 1/2. Okay? So my period is, notice this one has b factored out, so this is my second equation. So here's b. Period is still 2 pi divided by b. So this is 2 pi divided by 3. My frequency is still b, the absolute value of b, so this is 3. Okay? My phase shift in this equation is just negative c, because remember, this is the second equation, so b is already factored out, so my phase shift in this one is negative pi divided by 4. And then my vertical shift is 1. So I'm going 1 up. And that's it. Okay? We're going to do the same thing for the next equations and see if we can find it. Find all the information. Okay. Here we go. Okay, this one looks a little different. What's different about this equation? Well, what's different about this equation is they moved d, this is d, they moved d to the front of the equation. Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. I'm still finding amplitude is still the number amplitude is still the number with cosine or sine. So my amplitude here is 4. Amplitude is the number, not the first number, it's the number that's multiplied with sine or cosine. Okay, my period is still 2 pi divided by b. B is the number with the x, so what number is that? 1. So this would be 2 pi. My frequency is that number, which is 1. My phase shift is negative, the minus of that, so that would be 5 pi divided by 6 divided by b, which is 1. So this is 5 pi divided by 6. And then my vertical shift, which we already talked about, is negative 2. Okay. I'm going to pause for a second, let you guys kind of draw that in. And we're going to go ahead and move to the next page. And I think this is our last problem, if I remember correctly. I'm going to just peek real quick. Yep, this is our last page. We're going to do the same thing. Here we go. So, so my amplitude is the number in multiplied by sine. So that's 2/3. My period is 2 pi divided by b, and in this case b is 2, so that means my period is pi. My frequency is just b, which is 2. My phase shift is, in this case, negative c, right here, negative 2 pi divided by b, which is 2, so that would be negative pi. And my vertical shift is the number by itself, not attached to anything, so that would be 5. Good job. And I would go to the next page, but it says that you're supposed to do assignment 4.9, but that's already, you're already doing that in a abbreviated version of that in the Nearpod, so please continue and just finish that. Yes, I can see all your responses. If you want to know, I can see what you write. I can see everything. So just finish that up and then do the delta math, and you will be done with this lesson. You still have a summary you have to write. And then again, any questions, ask in the discussion board. Thank you guys for your participation. I will see you later. Thank you.